I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Kane.
Here.
Poyer. Here. Finnegan. Here. Stout. Taylor. Here. Gallivan. Here. Olson.
Here.
Okay, I'd like to begin this evening with the recognition of a business partnership with Dominic's Pizza and Pasta. I'll turn over to Dr. Representative.
Thank you. Good evening. Yeah, Ms. Pickle, come up. Yeah, come up to the table. Tonight, we are thrilled to continue our recognitions of our business partners. Here at District 88, we can't do what we do without the help of our community partners, and in this case, our business partners, for many reasons. We have business partners that help us in many different ways, and some of them in multiple ways, which you'll hear about tonight. Maria Litzara Pickerel with Dominic's Pizza and Pasta in Villa Park is a prime example of an individual and company working with us to achieve our goals. Maria is always willing to support District 88, goes above and beyond for students, families, and events. The following are just some examples of her incredible involvement and generosity. Dominic's Pizza and Pasta donates pizzas for our annual Relay for Life of District 88 Youth, a community event that raises funds for the American Cancer Society. Donates pizzas for the concession stand during Willowbrook's homecoming football game, which helps raise funds for the school's athletic booster club to support student athletes and athletic programs. Opens early on weekends to accommodate Willowbrook's concession stand needs for special events. Offers special pricing and donations for the Willowbrook Athletic Boosters Club Senior Athletic Banquet, Coaches Luncheon, and Parents Night Out. Partners with Willowbrook Athletics to go gold throughout September in support of Cal's Angels and finding a cure for pediatric cancer. Is the official provider of meals for the Willowbrook football team at a discounted price. And they can eat, right? They eat a lot. Provides financial support as a Power Ad sponsor of Willowbrook's new digital scoreboard in the school's main gym. Provides donation for the Willowbrook Music Booster Club's trivia night. Has provided meals for vendors during the Willowbrook Parent Organization's craft fair. Most recently, Willowbrook Assistant Principal for Athletics and Operations, Ed Sullivan, pitched the idea to Maria of hosting a halftime contest during the home varsity boys and girls basketball games, where participants get 3 attempts to make a half-court shot. There's more kids that can do that than you'd realize, right? Yeah.
We might have to measure and make sure that it's right.
I was going to say, I've heard it's a lot more than people were expecting. So good for our kids, but not
Yes.
somebody else. The intent is to increase student attendance at games. As Mr. Sullivan said, without hesitation, Maria agreed to sponsor the contest, and she generously donates a jumbo 3-topping thin crust pizza for anyone who successfully completes the challenge. She even went out of her way to get special coupons printed. It has created a buzz and an excitement at our contest, which would not be possible without Maria's support. Willowbrook Principal Dr. Dan Krause added, Maria and Dominic's Pizza and Pasta are a Villa Park mainstay and an incredible partner with Willowbrook High School and District 88. As you can see, Maria with Dominic's Pizza and Pasta is a tremendous business partner. We're proud to honor her in recognition of her efforts, and we truly thank you for all you've done for our community, our students, our families. And again, we wish you all the best in your endeavors, but we really appreciate everything you've done for the district.
Very, very
Thank
welcome.
you.
I grew up in Addison, so I went to Addison Trail, and I married someone that went to Willowbrook, and now I've got a Willowbrook sophomore and future Willowbrook alumni, so. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then, Danny's going to want a picture. Okay, and next we'll move along to 88's Best, District 88 Successes, and we'll start this evening with Addison Trail.
Good evening. Addison Trail is honored to recognize Nelson Cardona as this month's recipient of 88's Best. just a quick story about Nelson and letting him know about this award. I go up to AP Chemistry, I believe it was, and go into the class, and I pull him out, and he's got kind of this confused look on his face, like, oh man, what happened? Is something going on? And I tell him, and I was like, hey, we're going to recognize you as 88's best. Like, it's great, congratulations. And just like this, like, okay, really? Like, just like this, like, underwhelming kind of response. And he even came down after later that day, and he was like, hey, sorry about my response. Like, I just can't believe it. Like, thank you so much. And then it was like, okay, here's the big response. But I think just the humbleness that you have and just thinking like truly like, oh, me, like Nelson, which was really powerful for me to see. But we really could have selected him for any of 88's best, any of the topics that we select students for, because his leadership, his involvement in extracurricular activities, as you'll hear tonight, but truly just his desire to make Addison Trail a better place is powerful. Staff say it absolutely best, so I'm going to start with some staff comments. Ms. McSweeney, Dean of Students and Student Council sponsor, shares, Nelson Cardona truly represents the best of Addison Trail. He is an exceptional scholar with outstanding academic achievement, a state qualifying math competitor, and a dedicated varsity golf captain, a talented chamber member musician, and a committed leader in student council and DECA. Just as impressive as his accomplishments is his character. Nelson leads with kindness, maturity, and a genuine desire to serve others, including volunteering each summer to teach golf to students with special needs. He is a true Renaissance student whose curiosity, leadership, and compassion positively impact every corner of our school community. Mr. Fauser, science department head and teacher, Nelson is an affable, capable student. He is able to provide high-quality work as an individual and works well with his peers. He is very involved in the school and manages to stay on top of his assignments. Ms. Ferraro, English department head and teacher, shares, Nelson has been a stellar member of our academic team. He takes risks during our competitions, attempting to beat our opponents to the buzzer. His intellect is on full display as he answers complex questions about a variety of subjects. He leads the team by example and is a responsible, reliable member. Just don't ask him about Michael Jordan on the run of the Bulls championship in the 90s, because apparently you might get that question wrong. There must be a story to that one, Nelson. Ms. Nzinga, English 9 honors teacher, shares, I've had the privilege of having Nelson in class as a freshman in English 9 honors and now as a junior in AP language and composition. He's a dynamic and outgoing young man who always adds a blend of deeper level of analysis and fun to the classroom conversation. Nelson's thoughtful comments always inspired others to speak and challenge their own thinking. Mr. Stambres, orchestra director, shares Nelson Cardona has been a dedicated member of the Addison Trail Orchestra for 4 years and represents the very best of our program. Through consistent hard work and excellent musicianship, Nelson has grown into a leader within the viola section and sets a high standard for his peers. As a member of the Addison Trail Honors Quartet, he exemplifies strong ensemble skills, commitment, and artistry. In addition to his musical accomplishments, Nelson successfully balances his dedication to viola performance with athletics and academic responsibilities, performing at a high level in all 3 areas. He is always willing to help others and brings a positive, respectful attitude to class every day. Mr. Olson, teacher, shares, what really makes Nelson stand out to me is not his involvement in school activities or his superior effort in those activities, but rather quite simply the character he displays during his involvement, and character counts. Having the opportunity to have Nelson twice in AP Human Geo and AP US History allowed me to see his maturity of his character firsthand. And it was a privilege to have the opportunity on a daily basis over a 2-year period. There is no doubt Nelson is one of 88's best. Ms. Grossart, teacher, Nelson walked into honors biology daily with such a positive effervescence that was not only admired but was contagious amongst myself and his peers. His upbeat mindset and perseverance are hard to match. I had the joy of watching this impact spread like ripples throughout the room. He worked through difficult content with ease and always volunteered to help others that were struggling. Miss Marine, counselor, says, from the moment I met Nelson, I was so very impressed by his positive attitude, strong character, and unwavering commitment to his education and future. He is a humble scholar whose presence brightens any room, and I feel fortunate to have led to have had Nelson on my caseload during his sophomore year. I have no doubt that Nelson will achieve his goal of becoming a physician, providing high-quality, compassionate care to patients from diverse backgrounds. Miss Bonk, teacher says, the man, the myth, the legend, Nelson Cardona. She did not teach him during his junior year, but his peers would constantly regale her with all the stories about Nelson and his unique personality. Now she has you in class teaching you during your senior year, and she can see what his peers were talking about. Nelson's presence absolutely changes a room. I am absolutely impressed by Nelson's questions. He is curious about the world around him and how it works. And he has a particular talent for asking creative, specific physics questions that spur engaging academic conversations. Nelson cares about learning and understands ideas, but he is able to balance his impressive intellect with humor and compassion. Finally, Miss Stockweilen shares, and if I read everything Miss Stockweilen wrote, we'd be here all night, but I'm going to try to sum it up. I met Nelson in 2022 when he joined our math team as an energetic 9th grader. I taught Nelson at Advanced Placement Calculus BC as an 11th grader and in a class of high-performing seniors. I had him again last semester, but as part of the College Credit Calculus 3 course through Elmhurst University. Nelson is interested in mathematics, biology, and finance, and has taken advanced coursework, AP and honors level, ranking in the top 2% of his class. Competed on our math team throughout his 4 years of high school. With much hard work, he qualified to compete at the state level every year so far in both individual and team events. At this time, the time she wrote this, so that we have a meet tomorrow, at which him and his partner will present problems dealing with, I apologize, some of these math names, Euclidean algorithm, Bezoit's inequality, and Diophantine equations. Dr. Krause, you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of those. So wish him luck. We all hope he makes it to state for the 4th time this spring. As an expressive curiosity for mathematics, he can solve a Rubik's Cube, has no problem respectfully asking what-if questions during class. She wraps up with, Nelson is humble, sometimes goofy, and very easy to get to know, even though he does not like purple, her favorite color. I love the energy that he brought to class. It is not the same this semester since his schedule changed, and I don't see him daily. Fortunately, I have his volumes by Shark Slices cross-section project displayed, so she will think of him every day. He is really one of 88's best, and I predict great success for him. When Nelson graduates from Madison Trail, he will have completed 15 advanced placement courses. He does not have a light load right now. He has 6 of those advanced placement courses this semester. He has opted for honors in every opportunity that he can take. I think just to kind of talk about that Calc 3 section, which is the highest level math course that we offer on campus at Addison Trail with partnership with Elmhurst University. For somebody to say that is their favorite class doesn't happen very often. So just has truly exhausted all of the options that we have within our math curriculum. As you heard, some of these, Nelson is an active member of our student council, having served as recording secretary and now as vice president. He actually represents Addison Trail on the Northeastern District of Student Councils, or NED, where right now he serves as the communications chairperson responsible for the social media platforms and updating that organization's website. He has been an active member of Key Club for all 4 years. He has helped students transition to Addison Trail, having been a member of our Pay It Forward team. He has been on DECA for 3 years, qualifying for state all 3 years, and currently serves as co-president. As you heard, he is a member of our math team where he has qualified, I'm going to say for all 4 years because I'm that confident you're going to qualify this year. He is a member of our academic team. He represents the fine arts program in the orchestra all 4 years, being a part of symphony orchestra, chamber orchestra, string quartet. He was selected to perform as the ILMEA District 9 Senior Orchestra. He is a member of theater, inspired by his mom and encouraged by his mom to join theater. He first started as a pit orchestra member, then took a minor acting role, and in the upcoming musical has a lead role. So really excited about that in the coming weeks. He is an active member of our principals advisory, superintendent advisory. He's a varsity golf team member all 4 years, having served as captain 2 years, both as his junior and senior year. He has been all conference honors twice and was named team MVP twice. He also played baseball during his junior year. Outside of school, he somehow finds the time to volunteer with the West Suburban Special Recreation Association, helping teach golf to students with disabilities or to adults with disabilities, where he's an assistant coach and mentor. He works part-time at Links and Tees golf facility over the summer. Again, somehow finding the time. He was part of the Northwestern Medicine Discovery Program, Northwestern, part of that hospital program. He is an AP Scholar with Honor, an Illinois State Scholar. He has earned the Seal of Biliteracy in Spanish. He is a member of the National Honor Society, Illinois Music Honor Society, and the World Language Honor Society. After Nelson leaves Addison Trail in just a few short months, he will be attending the University of Notre Dame, where he plans to major in mathematics with following a pre-med track with aspirations of becoming an anesthesiologist. Nelson, truly just thank you for what you've done at Addison Trail, how you've represented Addison Trail outside of our walls, and just truly best of luck to you, and congratulations on being this month's recipient of 88's Best.
Nelson, at this time, the floor is yours.
I would like to start by addressing that Michael Jordan comment. When you're doing the academic team stuff, like, it gets hard to concentrate. Well, not concentrate. It gets hard to think. So, like, even the simplest of answers might not come to your head. And I don't remember what the exact question was, but it was like the answer was so clearly Michael Jordan. And there was actually a Michael Jordan poster on the wall, like, right in front of me. But I still hesitated to say Michael Jordan. So I don't know what that was about. But, yeah, I just wanted to clear the air on that. So thank you for this opportunity of being selected as this month's D88's Best. Thank you to the Board of Education. Thank you, Mr. Andrews. Thank you, Dr. Barbonente. I want to give a big thank you and well-deserved thank you to my parents. I could do a better job at showing this, but I am like super grateful for them. They do a lot for me. Like, they sacrifice so much for me. The amount of opportunities they have given me is like more than I could ever ask for, and I don't think I would be the same person I am today without them. So that's just, I'm so grateful for them and the support they've given me. Thank you to my sister. She's only 11, but she's still a great person to talk to. Whenever I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm happy, I can go to her, and she has few 11-year-old words of wisdom to share with me. Next, I want to thank my friends, some of which are here today, which thank you. But most of my closest friends I met in, I want to say, 6th or 7th grade, because I was placed along with them in the double accelerated math. And I've basically grown up with them ever since then. Like, we turned math class into a competition at times, and they helped push me to be the best I can be. And that's part of the reason I like Calculus 3 so much, is because a lot of us have been together in math class since like 6th grade. So having that, like, what is that, 7-ish years of like togetherness is something that, like, I think is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, you're not going to be able to stick with your friends in the class for that long. And like, not just in school, outside of school as well. Like, we would hang out all the time. We would do a lot of fun stuff together. And it's just like, same thing with my parents. I don't think I would be the same person I am today without them. I also want to thank just golf in general and my golf coach. As Mr. Andrews said, I was on the varsity team for all 4 of my years here. And golf, it's been like probably one of the funnest things I've done in Addison Trail. And it's something I'm definitely going to remember, like, for the rest of my life. Like, the team every single year has been great. It's been a lot of fun. Especially, I got to say, this past year, like my last season, I was so lucky to have such a great and fun and enthusiastic team my last year. We actually did pretty good too, which it was nice to like end with a bang. And I continue to golf with these people. Like, they're people I would also consider my friends, not just teammates. So like, outside of school, we go to Links and Tees, which I can get for free because I work there. And we go like on actual golf courses too, so it's a lot of fun. Lastly, I just want to thank teachers in general. Like, I don't think I've ever had a negative experience or a bad experience with a teacher, and that's one of the things that I love about Addison Trail so much, is that every single, not just teacher, like staff member, my coach, my golf coach, teachers, they've all had like at least one, definitely way more, but at least one good thing to offer to me. And I just love that no matter where I go in the school, I find something. If I need help, I know there's some place I can go no matter what I need help with. So I'm extremely grateful for that as well. So yeah, thank you.
So before the meeting, we had an opportunity to meet as the board with you and ask you some questions. You've already kind of answered my question, so I have to ask something from the presentation. What is the Bavins by Shark Slices Cross Sections project?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for Calculus BC, so second semester Calc BC, our final exam, like part of our final exam was to do a project. And so basically we learned about cross sections in that class. Like simple terms, it's like three-dimensional. I kind of don't really remember. But yeah, it's like a three-dimensional, like turning a triangle into 3 dimensions, and it's like a whole thing. But we had a shark, so our given shape, me and my partner's here, because it was, the assignment was in partners. So me and my partner got assigned a triangle cross-section. So we were like, what could we do with a triangle? And then it hit us, the gills of a shark. Like you can make the gills of the shark look like triangles. So on the poster board, we did a shark. His name was Pubert the shark. And as the gills, we stacked like triangles, and it kind of made a shape like a semicircle shape with triangles. It's kind of hard to explain, but it was a lot of fun. Like that's part of the reason I love that class as well, is because we turned math into like a fun project. So yeah, Pubert the shark is going to be with Miss Stackweilen for probably the rest of his life.
Yeah. Well, look, next meeting, we expect, that's your homework assignment. Okay, I'll open up to other board members for questions.
Congratulations, Nelson. My question is, what is something that you did during your time at Addison Trail that you didn't really think that, you didn't have, conceive of doing it when you first started at school?
Yeah, so definitely theater. Kind of what Mr. Andrews said earlier. As a freshman, my mom would always tell me, join theater, you gotta join theater. Like, it'll be so good for you. And I looked at her in the face, I said, absolutely not. Like, honestly, I never, ever saw myself being able to go on a stage and perform in front of a bunch of people. So my sophomore year, I was part of the pit orchestra, which I was okay with, because, I wasn't really, like, an important character. I wasn't gonna be seen. I was kind of, like, behind the scenes, you could say. So, like, I was okay with that. And then my junior year, one of my good friends, he decided to audition for the musical that year, and he wanted me to do it with him. So it took a lot of convincing me, to be honest. I was really hesitant, and I was like, got to be this close to saying no, but at the end of the day, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And I really am glad that I did. I only had like a minor, like extra role, nothing very important, but this year I auditioned again because I loved it last year so much, and I have a lead role this year. So like, if you were to ask me my freshman year, can you believe you're doing theater? I would have said, no way, you're lying to me. So it's definitely theater. Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, congratulations, and best of luck to you. We know you'll be back here in the spring when we recognize our state, what do we call it? People have made it to state, yeah. And we know you'll be there for math, so we'll look forward to seeing you in a few months. So congratulations. And now Willowbrook.
Thank you so much. Willowbrook is honored to introduce Marley Smers as this month's recipient of 88's Best. So a quick fun fact, Marley and I were the first 2 participants of the Dominic's Half Court Challenge. I was terrible. She almost made it. I think she still deserves the pizza. But since then, we've got kids knocking that thing down. I can assure you that's a long distance. That's a long way. I had 3 straight air balls. She was a lot closer for that. But Marley is no stranger to the Board of Education and certainly to this building, as she's a member of the superintendent advisory team. But just 4 years ago, Marley was still in 8th grade. And some of the things you're going to hear about that she's been a part of never existed at Willowbrook High School, throughout District 88, or the state of Illinois. And I'm going to begin with some of the comments from our staff. And the first comes from Rachel Karros, physical education teacher, student inclusion coordinator, and head flag football coach. Marley is a 3-year captain, 3-year All-State flag football player, and 2022 state champion. Marley's impact on Willowbrook flag football is unmatched. Her leadership, record-setting performances, and recognition as Suburban Life Girls Flag Football Player of the Year helped lead the Warriors to historic success on the field. Even more important, Marley's role in our program has been bigger than football. Her dedication to the growth of girls flag football across the state of Illinois has helped create countless opportunities for future female athletes, leaving a legacy that will be felt for years to come. We are incredibly proud of Marley and what she has done not only for Willowbrook flag football, but for all girls who ever wanted to find their place in the sport of football. Move on to Mr. Clapper, social studies teacher, who says, "What I admire and appreciate most about Marley is her passion and energy. Whether it be on the football field or in my classroom, Marley's enthusiasm, positive attitude, and leadership is infectious and sparks the engagement of those around her. Most importantly, Marley is a sincere and compassionate person who treats everyone with kindness and respect. I truly feel grateful for having the opportunity to teach such an exceptional human being." Move on to PE. Ms. Stark says, "Marley has been an outstanding student leader in my freshman physical education class. She is extremely outgoing, fun, and relatable student athlete who always puts others at ease. Marley has a unique ability to make every student feel comfortable and included, regardless of their skill level or confidence in the activity. Her loud, positive energy and sense of humor help create a welcoming environment where students feel encouraged to participate and step out of their comfort zone. Through her leadership, enthusiasm, and genuine connection with her peers, Marley positively impacts the class culture and sets an excellent example for others. I am so thankful to have had her as a leader this entire year." Move on to English. Mr. Flegel says, "In addition to her excellence in athletics, Marley was a dedicated student leader in the English classroom during her junior year. She has a natural curiosity and enthusiasm for learning. She brought her best game to English every day, whether it was to practice punctuation, revise an essay, or discuss the characters and themes in classic short stories and novels. Marley set a high standard for her classmates and made class more enjoyable for her teacher. Thanks, Marley." Assistant Principal for Athletics and Operations, Mr. Sullivan, says, "When Marley Smurs attended her 8th grade step-up day in December 2022, the sport of flag football was non-existent at Willowbrook High School. In fact, the sport was non-existent in the state of Illinois. Flag football began during Marley's freshman year, and she was quick to participate in the new endeavor, and her impact was immediate. In the inaugural Illinois Flag Football State Championship game, Marley, one of the only freshmen on the field, returned a touchdown to the house in an interception. You can still see that footage many times, and having been there, it was amazing. The Warriors brought home the state title that year. Marley and her teammates put Willowbrook on the map for flag football, and the rest is history. Ever since that first season, Marley has been one of the top flag football players in the state. Whether she was slinging touchdowns as her quarterback or taking interceptions to the end zone as her safety, her impact was felt in all aspects of the game. She finishes her career as a 3-time All-State athlete and a 2-time All-Conference player. She was the 2025 Suburban Life Flag Football Player of the Year. Here's her senior season. She threw for 3,681 yards and 72 touchdowns, including 6 touchdown passes alone in the sectional final. Marley also rushed for 536 yards and 6 touchdowns. Defensively, she had 51 flag pulls and 28 interceptions. That's just her senior year. She is a four-time team state qualifier, and the Warriors have brought home 3 different state trophies during her tenure as a student athlete. But he finishes with this. When Marley graduates from Willowbrook High School this upcoming May, she will leave behind a legacy and reputation that will be extremely difficult for her student athletes to follow. She has made a lasting impact on our school, athletic, and Villa Park community. Nobody is more deserving of this recognition than Marley Smurs. Congratulations. Math teacher Miss Liu says, "Marley is a special young woman with so much spirit and energy. She was a joy to have in class, always engaged, willing to ask questions and volunteer answers, and a great partner teammate during class activities. My favorite part of working with her, though, has to be Marley's aha moments. When she figures something out, when a tough concept finally clicks, Marley lights up and lets out a gasp of exclamation of some kind. Marley carries a special magic inside her. I feel blessed to have had her in my class. I know she will bring that special, unique energy she has to whatever she does after her time at Willowbrook." It continues. Ms. Ramirez, learning services teacher and one of your coaches. Congrats, Smurs. It's been amazing seeing you grow as an athlete these past few years. There's no mistaking your continuous talent and heart as an athlete. You've helped pave a path for many. I look forward to hearing everything you accomplish in the future, and don't forget the Brook. Department Head for Career and Technical Education, Mary Barney, says, Marley is the ideal student. She asks tremendous questions, helps others, and advocates for what she needs to be successful. Marley cares for others and looks out not only for her own best interests, but also her teammates, her classmates, and her teachers. I am sad that I was only able to teach Marley in 2 business classes, and I miss having her smiling face, and bubbly personality in class every day. Mr. Blair, English teacher, says, I was fortunate to have Marley her freshman year in English 9. What a dedicated, hardworking, kind individual. She had this refreshing thirst to learn and quickly become a leader of her class. She often volunteered answers to read and to simply be a very active participant in class activities. I know she will continue to find success in the next stages of her education and life, for she just exudes enthusiasm and is wonderfully contagious. Your school counselor, Mr. Forcash, says, I would just like to say congratulations to Marley. She has had a lot of success in the classroom and on the field, but it's because she puts a lot of time and effort into what she's passionate about. She's a true competitor and a very kind and caring young person. It has been my pleasure to watch Marley grow as a leader amongst her peers and within our school. Again, congratulations, Marley, on earning this recognition. And the final one is similar to Ms. Stack-Weiland. If I read everything that Coach Nick Hildreth had put here, it's almost a full page. So I'm just going to take a couple of snippets, okay? I have had the privilege of coaching since 2006, and I've coached Marley Smers more seasons than any other athlete in my career. 4 years in flag football and 2 years in softball. During that time, she has accomplished more than I could list tonight. Marley is the only athlete I've ever coached in 2 different sports who earned all-state honors in both. She is without question the most instinctive football player I have ever coached, flag or tackle. She picked up a brand new game faster than anyone. Her understanding of the game, her recognition of responsibilities, and her awareness of everyone on the field are truly immeasurable. What makes Marley even more special is the impact and legacy she leaves behind. To be a pioneer, to help establish a program over a 4-year period that will live on as long as Willowbrook High School exists is rare. That kind of legacy cannot be duplicated. She has left an indelible impression on every young girl in this community, especially my daughter, who looks up to her and thanks to Marley, plays flag football and softball and dreams of playing both at Willowbrook High School. Marley, you are beyond deserving of this award. Thank you for your effort and leadership and everything you've given to our athletic programs, this community, and this school. So those are the comments on behalf of the staff. Marley has pursued the most rigorous courses available in her free time because you heard she's obviously really highly accomplished outside the classroom, but in the classrooms where you really have shined. You will have enrolled in multiple advanced placement courses as well as honors, Project Lead the Way, college credit earning classes, dual credit, honor roll status every semester of your high school career. Beyond the classroom, as I mentioned, she's a member of the superintendent advisory, the principal leadership team, as well as the student athletic leadership team. She's an active member, has been an active member of a volleyball, basketball, and you heard softball and football programs. Just learned that she's been working 40 hours a week at Panera. So that's a new undertaking. But she is planning to study political science and either minor or double major in psychology, perhaps at Western Michigan University, and intends to practice law in the future. Marley, there is no doubt whatever you decide to do, you will excel. You have done things at Willowbrook High School that never existed. You've taken on every challenge as an opportunity and certainly have made the most of it. So thank you on behalf of all of the teachers and staff who've had the pleasure of working with you and seeing you, all of your peers, and certainly all the future warriors who are going to remember your name for everything you've accomplished. Congratulations, Marley Smers, this month's recipient of 88's Best.
At this time, we turn the floor over to you.
Let me just move this down a little bit. I guess I would like to start by saying thank you to you guys, because as we heard, most of my success has come from flag football, and it all began here one time. I guess I wasn't around here yet, but I know it all began somewhere, maybe in a room like this, where you guys all decided that you'd give it a chance. And so I just wanted to say thank you for giving the chance, because I took it and ran with it, and I don't regret a single thing. And you guys are going to give so many other girls just like me the chances. And not only that, but you have given us a chance for all the women who didn't get this chance. And so I think that is a very special thing. And I would like to thank my parents, because without them, I would not be who I am today. And they have been right by my side every single step of the way. And I think without them, I don't even know who I would be. And I would also like to give a very, very special thanks to my grandma, because she has not only been next to me the entire time, but she's been my biggest supporter through everything in my life. From the moment I was born, she's there every single step of the way through the NICU and everything like that. And she continues to be right by my side in here today. My grandma knows things before I even know them. I don't really know how, but she texted me right when I had gotten this and was like, yo, your district idiots winner, congrats. And I was like, Grandma, I didn't even tell you that yet. Like, how did you even know that? And, you know, she's always been a very honest, supportive individual. And so I know that if my grandma says good job, I know that I did a good job. I would also like to give a special thanks to Dr. Kraus and all my teachers, because they really have pushed me to be my absolute best, and no matter what, when times got hard, I knew I had a shoulder to lean on. I knew that I had so much support within our school, and just like Nelson said, I've never had a bad experience with any teacher at our school. In fact, I think I've had some of the best experiences. A lot of the teachers that said stuff I've only known for a few short months, or I knew them a very long time ago, and for them to come back and comment and say these wonderful things about me really means a lot, and it really shows that I had just as much an impact on them as they've had on me. I would also like to thank my older friends. So freshman year, during that whole entire state series and that incredible fever dream of a season, I had about 9 seniors right by my side who I'm still friends with today, and they have really made me into who I am today, and they're all so successful. And I guess they've just really showed the standard that you really can do whatever you want. And specifically me, I didn't think I could be standing up here winning this award, and so to be up here is really an honor. And then my last 2 thank yous go to my twin sister and my older brother, Gavin. I think that they have really been the most impactful in my life. I always get asked, who's your biggest role model? And I immediately go to my brother. He's a Marine, and he's currently deployed, and he's serving our country. And I think that he is the bravest, most outgoing, funny, he has every trait that anyone could ever want. And he is really the reason why I got into sports. I remember we must have been like 4 and 8 or something, and he gave me this bat, and we sat in the backyard, and I would just swing these and hit these baseballs, and they'd only go a few feet, but he really sparked my love for softball. And the only reason why I actually did flag was because one day me and him went out in the front yard for like every single day for like 3 weeks straight, and he would just throw me this football, and he'd be like, go do this, go do this. And he never played football, but he introduced me to like every sport I've ever known, and so I think I give the most thanks to him on why I'm up here today.
Okay, once again, you answered my question, so I'm going to open up to other board members if they want to ask their questions. Anybody?
Hi, congratulations. What advice would you give to incoming freshmen to help them be successful like you've been?
That's a very good question. Obviously, I would like to start with just be yourself. Never be embarrassed to talk, because I could really talk forever if I was let. Never be embarrassed to be outgoing. You're no better or no worse than the person next to you, and you have almost every single opportunity that anyone else has, and take every single opportunity with the most, just go for it and just do it. Like, don't doubt yourself. Get your confidence up. Never quit, because what I like to think about when any time would get hard is there's someone out here who's doing this but isn't as fortunate as me. And if they can do it, then so can I. And so I'd say really take every opportunity and run with it. You never know what's going to cross your path. Like Nelson said, he didn't think he'd be in theater, but look at him, and he's succeeding and has won so many great things. And so I think that if that's possible for him and flag football is possible for me, I think that that can be possible for anybody else.
Thank you. Dan, did you want to?
I might as well.
Okay.
since I stumped her downstairs, I'm not sure if I should ask this again. What is the one memory activity that you're going to take with you after all these 4 years?
I know I've said it a few times, but flag football. It has not only made me who I am today, but it has showed me who I want to be when I grow up. And given all of the leader opportunities that I've had, I couldn't be more grateful for the fact that I know how to enter a room of people and I know where to go first, where to go next, who needs some help with introducing themselves, who am I going to become best friends with. Obviously, I try to be friends with everybody, but I don't think I'd be able to walk into a room and even like this, just talking to you guys, I don't think I'd be able to do this without flag. And so I think that has really made me into who I am. And if I didn't have that, I have no idea where I would be right now.
Well, congratulations, and we wish you the best of luck. We'll have a discussion about going into law later. But at this time, I'm going to ask both 88's best to come all the way up here. If your parents want to join you, that's fine. We have a lot to hand out to you, so sometimes it's helpful. So if parents want to come up, that's fine too. All the way up here. Yeah.
You're loud after all.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Okay, first we start off with, we have a certificate declaring you as 88's best. I'm sure you'll have many more of these this year. Congratulations. And then next we have a gift certificate for Anyways, so you can take your parents out to celebrate. Okay, and then next we have this memento that's created just for 88's best students. And that's you, and then you also get the box. So that's, you have parents come up to help carry that back. Congratulations. And then we're going to have you hang around. We've got one more recognition, and then we're going to take a 10-minute break. We have some refreshments, and congratulations to both of you and to your families as well. Thank you. Okay, next we have recognition of a staff member that has received her doctorate. It's always nice in education when our staff members continue to educate themselves, and we'll turn over to Dr. Permanente as well.
Sure. So it has become a tradition in District 88 to recognize staff members who have the dedication and perseverance, it is a game of perseverance many times, to finish their doctoral degree. And so tonight we'd like to call up Dr. Amy Nowak up to the table. Dr. Nowak earned her doctorate in curriculum instruction in December of 2025 from American College of Education after successfully defending her dissertation titled Challenges and Strategies for Integrating Artificial Intelligence in Culinary Arts Education, a qualitative case study of grades 6 through 12 in the United States. Dr. Nowak has nearly 25 years of experience as an educator in family and consumer sciences and career and technical education. She earned her bachelor's degree in health studies in 1994 from Eastern Illinois University, as well as 2 master's degrees from Northern Illinois University in education, curriculum, and instruction in educational administration. She joined the Willowbrook family in 1999 as a substitute teacher and became a full-time staff member in 2002. Throughout her career, Dr. Nowak has taught courses in culinary arts, interior design, child development, consumer management, parenting and fashion, and she previously served as the Family and Consumer Sciences Department head. Dr. Nowak was instrumental in designing and implementing a student-run catering and restaurant program at Willowbrook called the Brook Catering Company, which emphasizes real-world culinary operations, entrepreneurship, and professional skill development. Beyond her professional work in education, Dr. Nowak is actively involved in community service. She volunteers with the Outreach House, a non-for-profit organization in Lombard that provides food, diapers, clothing, and emergency assistance to low-income families, many of whom face language barriers or unemployment. She also volunteers as a baby cuddler at Edwards Hospital, supporting infants and families during critical periods of care. So tonight, we have something, the board will be presenting you with something that's been customized for you for earning this degree. Really proud of you and great work. It's not easy to get, it's a long road, but congratulations, Dr. Nowick.
Thank you for supporting me as I went through the program. I appreciate the tuition reimbursement very much. And Dr. Kraus was very helpful when I had to pick brains of other administrators to help me get my work done. So that was fun. But other than that, I believe in lifelong learning, and I chose to pursue my doctorate because I am a teacher and I do love learning and love extending my knowledge. And to show my children and all my family here, which I didn't know they were going to be here, I'm very surprised, that it's really important to continue studying and continue learning about information and as an adult grow in learning. So that's what that was. Thank you. At this time, we'll take a short 10-minute break. We have refreshments, and congratulations to everyone.
To the board and administration, the bell has rung and the
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Roll call, please. Here.
Finnegan. Stout. Taylor. Gallivan. Olson.
Here.
Okay, and next we have the petitions and hearings. We have, it's a practice of the Board of Education to provide a place on our agenda to welcome comments and suggestions from the public. And do we have any cards this evening?
Good evening. At this time, we have not received any public comments.
Okay. The next one, move along to item 7, which is a public hearing on e-learning days. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing on the proposed use of e-learning days in lieu of emergency days.
I move to open the public hearing on the proposed use of e-learning days in lieu of emergency days.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Finnegan.
Yes.
Taylor. Yes. Gallivan. Olson.
Yes.
Poyer.
Yes.
Kane.
Yes, motion's approved, and I declare that the meeting is now, the public hearing is now open. I'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent Von Segales to explain the rationale and share the e-learning plan.
Good evening. Today I am bringing to the board the e-learning plan renewal. We file an e-learning plan with the Regional Office of Education, and it's required that we have the renewal every 3 years. So we have had the e-learning plan in place since 2023, and it is time to renew. So there are really no changes to our e-learning plan that will be filed. So as part of school code, schools are able to use e-learning days in lieu of the emergency days. And so the number of e-learning days may not exceed the number of emergency days, and so for us, that's 5. So we're able to take up to 5 e-learning days. And so the way our plan reads is that our students get 5 clock hours of, 5 synchronous clock hours of instruction via Google Classroom. So when we do call an e-learning day based on weather or any sort of emergency, we do have the students log in via Zoom to every class, and the teachers do conduct school, and they have class with them, and they take attendance for those times. Students do have a Chromebook as mandated. They also have, they've been trained in the use of Google tools. We are also able to provide Wi-Fi hotspots to students who need them, who are not able to access internet at home. We do provide those as well. Students can ask their counselors for those. And then in the time, if a student is not able to use electronic materials, the teachers provide appropriate learning tools through individual communication with families. Teachers have been provided laptops, and then they've also been provided the professional development in the use of Google tools and Zoom in order to provide that instruction on those e-learning days. And finally, the e-learning days are communicated in Spanish and English through various pathways and paths, the website, automatic phone calls, and emails to students and guardians.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the floor to any questions or comments from the board members. Okay.
I have a question. Have there been any changes made to the last plan?
No, there are no changes. It's
Okay.
literally the same plan that we're.
I thought it looked the
We
same, but I
had no.
wasn't sure.
It was a very good system that we had. Teachers were able to adapt, and students as well. So there are no changes. It is the same plan as last time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and next I'd open up if there's any questions or comments from the public.
Good evening. We did not receive any public comments for the public hearing.
You know, I think the e-learning has really solved so many problems for us, and I know though sometimes people say those snow days were nice occasionally, but I think it's nice not, they have to remember that in June when they don't want to be in school anymore.
Exactly.
Okay, seeing that there's no other comments, I'll request a motion to close the public hearing on the proposed use of e-learning in lieu of emergency days.
Move to close the public hearing on the e-learning proposal.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Taylor?
Yes.
Galvin?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes. Motion's approved, and the hearing is closed. Next, I'll move on to request a motion to establish the consent agenda.
I move to establish a consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Taylor?
Yes.
Galvin?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes. Motion's approved. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Galvin?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Taylor? Yes. Kane?
Yes. Motion's approved. Next, we'll go on to separate action items. First one is the annual financial audit fiscal year 2025.
Good evening. Tonight, we have Mr. Paul Rosario from Lauterbach and Amen to go over the annual financial report from the 2024-25 audit that we have been working on since basically the summer. The Lauterbach team comes in typically 2 to 3 times, stays with us for about a week one of those times to complete the audit. Their findings go in, and we review them. They put together kind of a findings log for us to work on and follow through. So, Mr. Rosario, I'll turn the floor over to you to kind of walk us through that.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm the audit manager from Lauterbach and Amon. I'm here to discuss and go over the required communication associated with the 2025 financial audit. But before I begin, I wanted to give out 2 thank yous. The first one would be to the board to actually allow me to present tonight, so I appreciate that. And also to Ryan and his team, because without him, especially when we're managing the daily task, and with all our audit requests, I apologize in advance on that, we wouldn't have gotten this really smoothly, so I appreciate his help and dedication to this. So without further ado, I wanted to go over the first one, the primary one, which is essentially the annual financial report. If you go to page 1 and 3, it'll be the independent auditor's report. This is basically the management's responsibility for the presentation of the financial report, and our responsibility as auditors to express an opinion on those. And good to say that on our opinion, it's an unmodified opinion, which is basically the highest form and cleanest form of an opinion, saying that your financial statements are free from material misstatement, and it appears that the organization has good, sound internal controls over financial reporting. Pages 5 through 15 are the management's discussion and analysis, which will give you a pretty good illustration of what has occurred during the year. It presents it with charts and graphs, so it makes it a little bit easier to kind of digest that information and provide the highlights that may be more pertinent to you regarding the year. So I definitely recommend reading it at your leisure. Pages 18 to 24 is more of the details associated with it, the actual basic financial statements, so the assets, liabilities, along with the income statement that occurred during the year. So basically that will give you the numbers, but to give you more detail, that will be in the notes of the financial statements, which will follow on page 25. So that will give you even more detail as to what actually transpired, any even additional breakdown on some of the information, just to give you an idea as to why some of the amounts are what they are for the current year. And then page 62 is the required supplementary information. The biggest thing to note in this section is that it has your budget to actual reporting. So if you wanted to see what you budgeted during the year and how you actually performed, you can definitely take a look at that information there and then maybe be able to plan for the next following year. So that pretty much gives you a high overview of the annual financial report. I'm not sure if you have any questions on that, but if not, we can move over to the next piece of information, which is the management letter. Okay. So with the management letter, this is to convey any internal control recommendations, best practices that we see in the industry, and any upcoming GASB pronouncements. Currently, the one that was new this year was the IT awareness and monitoring of emerging risk. So essentially, this is not a recommendation as a result of an error or an issue that we encountered during the audit. This is more to bring into attention the emerging risks that are associated with IT, with all the other risk, and we just want to bring that to the board's awareness to try to plan for that, to develop any controls associated with any of your IT systems, and to make sure that that's always on the hindsight, to make sure that nothing gets jeopardized in the future. The prior recommendations that we had were the capital asset policy, funds over budget, and the fund not in compliance with fund balance policy. Just to indicate that for this year, the capital asset policy has been cleared, so that will not be on the management letter in the next year's audit. And then in there will be the details as to what we found with regards to the 2 other recommendations and how Ryan and his team will address that going forward in the current year. The last piece of information are the GASB pronouncements, which is GASB 103 and 104. You can read at your leisure, but it's really all about financial reporting updates according to GASB and how we should report some of the information, including capital assets, which will be new for next year. It's kind of boring, but if you want to read it, just let us know, and then we'll let you know what will happen, so essentially. So yes, that's pretty much the gist of the management letter. And thank you again for giving me the time to present it to you, and I'm open up to any questions you may have.
I assume that those are because it's transportation, it's where we haven't gotten full reimbursement from the state on the transportation, and areas like our special ed and our homeless transportation, and we can't really anticipate what that's going to be like during the year. And so we can't always budget perfectly for it. But is there any other thing that might be affecting that besides that reimbursement?
It could be also timing as well, just in terms of the way the district runs their finances. They run it on a cash basis, and then when we see where we're heading and tracking for the end of the year, all of a sudden there could be some outside placement billing that comes in that, didn't make our June 30 cutoff, but comes in August. The auditor team will come in and they'll accrue it back because the audit's done on an accrued basis. But a lot of times it really is, when you set the budget in September, costs ramp up, students get outplaced throughout the year. It's hard to guess, if you would, everybody that's going to be out. So as it fluctuates and the higher the transportation costs they continue to rise, it's also getting squeezed. The more you're spending, you have in the past typically have gotten support from the state to get reimbursed. And what you'll hear later is that support is dwindling. It's diminishing at the state level in terms of crediting back the school districts.
Okay. So all we can really do is try to budget more for those areas just to.
Try to pad it a little bit.
Pad it a little bit.
The hard part with that transportation fund is that second repeating or the third repeating bullet is that fund is the one we've been trying to rebuild because we spent all the money out of it 2 years ago. So we're still trying to get it over that hump of that 30%, which is why we continue to levy more money into that fund to try to help get it up a little bit. So hopefully after another set of years of another $1 million extra levy, we can kind of get it out of there. But then, it really has to take a look at, what are we spending on? So some of the things that we worked on this year is we looked at our field trips and our substitutes to try to help both sides of it. So if we don't field trip out so much, we're not having all those costs, that ripple effect, if you will. But we see it, everywhere in terms of just rising costs with our outplacements. And then, we talked about at one of the finance meetings, when you have increased athletic participation, they're also taking charters to go out and compete. So it has that ripple effect.
Okay.
Buses.
Yep. Well, and I know that's one of the issues that Lynn was looking at too, is just to make sure that we are getting more reimbursed, or getting the appropriate reimbursement from the state for the categoricals, like transportation, which is a whole nother story.
That is a great segue for in a little bit. So.
We got him today, so he's gonna, it's a
Yeah.
preview. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
We'll see you in item C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's all the questions I had. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay. Okay, then we can entertain a motion.
I move that the Board of Education accept the financial audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, as prepared by Lauterbach and Amann LLP.
Second.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Gallivan? Gallivan?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes, motion's approved. Next, move on to the treasurer's report for November 2025.
Presenting to the board for the month ending November 30th, 2025, a total balance of $97,027,016.08. This month, we completed a laddered investment strategy of $24,660,500 of T-bills and CDs, with the latest maturing at the end of fiscal year 2028. In correlation with the Fed cuts in rates, our interest rates have continued to fall. Byline currently sits at about 4.35%, and that was as of November. This month's interest income was $157,681, bringing our year-to-date interest income to $1,260,727.42. I did take a look at last year's report that I took to the board for kind of a reference point to illustrate the decreasing interest rates. Our year-to-date interest income from last November was $1,893,595.95, which means that this year, being at a little bit 1.26, a difference of $632,868. So just, as a scale of kind of that tightening of our revenue, we are starting to see that with that interest income kind of on a year-over-year look.
I move that the Board of Education approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Poyer,
Yes.
Finnegan,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Gallivan, Olson,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have the budget status report.
All right. For the education fund, revenues through November, the district has received 47.24% of approximately $25 million of budgeted revenues, which is slightly down 0.14% over the prior year. With other local revenues, we're down about 14.8% from this time last year. A lot of that is just timing. CPPRT collections, we've received about 32%, or a little over $750,000. Our investment income is currently at approximately $813,000 collected thus far, or about 58% of the budget. So moving still slightly ahead, but starting to slow down a little bit. The a la carte food sales of approximately $261,954 year to date is at about 54% of budget and are running fairly strong. And then finally, registration fees, parking fees, athletic entry fees, and other local revenues budgets are at 72% of budget collected thus far. For state aid collections, we are currently sitting up 3.9% from the prior year with about $2.85 million received, or 37.5%. And then for federal aid, collections are down about 17.6% from the prior year with just under $2 million received, or 57.2%. And a lot of that is the lack of extra ESSER receipts that we got that trailed in the beginning of last year. In terms of education fund expenditures, we're trending slightly up 0.4% overall. Salaries are slightly down year over year by about 0.51%. Benefits are slightly up 0.24%. Contractual services are up 4.1%, and supplies are down year over year about 10%. Capital outlay is up 18.3%. A lot of that is timing, where we've had our technology, wrestling mats, planers, and joiners from the CTIC Perkins grants that have been purchased thus far this year. And then tuition expense is up 2.46 year over year. For the O&M fund, the revenue is at 47.12%, or approximately $3.64 million year to date, up slightly year over year, 0.23%. Investment income is at 42.4% of budget, and the only state revenue expected in this fund is that $50,000 school maintenance grant. We typically see it in March, so haven't got that yet. And there is no federal revenue in the O&M account. In terms of expenditures year over year, activity is at 39.8% expended, which is down approximately 9.5% versus the prior year. Salaries are slightly up 0.27%, and benefits are relatively flat at being up 0.05%. Utilities and purchase service expense is down 24.9% year over year, and supplies are also down 1.02% at this time. The big purchase service decline is mostly due to the increase in repairs that we saw at this time during last year when we had all their issues. But as you might recall from last week, we did have to call a plumber out to rod the lines over at Willowbrook for the tree roots that are growing into the plumbing. In addition, there might be some additional electrical costs heading our way for Addison Trail. We're monitoring that issue as we did have the power go out last week Friday. And then for capital expenditures, they are down 47.1%, mostly due to the timings of the projects in the capital areas account. For the transportation fund, revenue of approximately $2.97 million, or 38.7% of budget. We are up 2.3% compared to this time last year. Within other local revenue, investment income of just under $47,000 is currently at 18% of the budget. And then for state aid, we received our first categorical payment of approximately $501,000, which is up slightly 0.53% compared to last year. And then as earlier alluded to, the Illinois State Board released their proration reimbursement percentages for the state mandated categorical grant programs on Christmas Eve this year. You may recall from last year that the special ed transportation reimbursement was the lowest amount in about a decade and a half. Their chart only goes back to fiscal year 2013, so about 13 years. And last year, we were prorated at 69%. It has now reached a new low for fiscal year 2026, where the special ed reimbursement will be at a 60% proration. So in 4 years ago, you were getting just about a dollar for dollar back on your spend for the SPED categoricals, and now you're getting back 60 cents on the dollar. So there is a lot of buzz going around, especially with LEND and at the state levels. A lot of the, my organization, the IASBO, has been talking a lot about this in terms of, they're fully funding the ESSER, or not the ESSER, the EBF, and they're now taking that money away from the categorical. So they're saying everything is good, but then they're not fully funding it. So a lot of schools are having to dig into their local funds to pay for these mandated resources. And then for regular vocational transportation, they also saw a decrease, 79% last year to 76% for this year. So a little bit smaller. And then while it's not in transportation, private SPED tuition also saw a pretty significant decrease. Needless to say, as the costs continue to rise, providing for transportation, the reimbursements for these services continue to diminish. And then no federal revenue in the transportation fund. Expenses of just under $1.5 million are trending slightly down over the prior year, 1.04%, but following similar trends to last year's budget. There is no more capital expenses remaining. We did complete the purchase of the activity bus that we had budgeted for. And then finally, the IMR pension fund, revenue approximately $1.14 million or 49.57% of budget, which is down slightly 1.8% year over year, and expenses of $828,182 or 36.1% of budget, slightly up 0.73% over the prior year. So really kind of monitoring the transportation fund still, as well as the purchase service line to make sure we don't get too far out of whack into the operations and maintenance fund as well. Otherwise, everything else looks great.
One of the things that I know we're talking about at Lind with the transportation is just, realizing that maybe not all districts are running as efficiently on the transportation and things like that, or, needing to kind of look at that and make sure that we are all. I mean, I know we do. And how we go out to bid and things like that, and how we've purchased our buses and things, but it's, so that we can present the case to the state of, you can't say you're doing this and not do it.
Right. One of the things that we'll have working for us in, over the next few years is with decreasing enrollment, you might not have to run as many routes. So that's on the table too, is to look at and see of the students that are coming to school over the next several years, we'll be able to shave off a route or two. All things to look at as we see where the students are living when registration opens up.
Yeah. Okay. Entertain a motion.
I move that the Board of Education approve the budget status report as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Finnegan,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Gallivan,
Yeah.
Olson,
Yes.
Poyer? Yes.
Kane.
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have the authorization to prepare the tentative budget for 26-27. We just got done with last year.
Yes, I feel the same way. So attached is a resolution presented for the board for the approval to fulfill our annual requirement to officially establish the fiscal year and designate someone to prepare and publish the tentative budget for the coming 26-27 school year in accordance with Illinois School Code Section 17-1.
I move that the Board of Education adopt the resolution authorizing preparation and publication of the tentative budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Taylor,
Yes.
Gallivan,
Yeah.
Olson,
Yes.
Poyer,
Yes.
Finnegan,
Yes.
Kane.
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have item E, the summer 2026 construction work. I can't say it today.
As we discussed last week at our Buildings and Grounds meetings, there are currently 2 roofing projects that are due per our roofing plan. At Addison Trail, the B wing is able to be restored or recoated. Due to the type of roof we have on the B wing, We have the ability to recoat the roof through Garland, which would extend the life and the warranty of that roof for another 30 years, so it would not entail a full tear off and redo. And we're just able to reglaze it, if you will. And at Willowbrook, we are looking to completely replace the door 6 canopy, which will carry a 30-year warranty as well. When we last did our roofing projects 2 years ago, we followed the process where we went through Garland through the purchasing cooperative. Everything went well. What we do is we save on the money that we would typically pay an architect for that. One of the nuances with going with Garland, who we've used for the last several years, is for them to honor their warranty, they have to be on site to approve of the work. So they have certified roof installers, of which the 3 that provided pricing, we've all used in the past. DCG Roofing came in the cheapest, or the least expensive, at $679,392. We are asking for a $25,000 contingency allowance just for any unforeseen things that might pop up, which would bring the total to $704,392. One of the things we do with our roofs before start getting pricing is we infrared them to look and see what type of material we might need to replace. If there's any moisture getting in where we need to replace any insulation, we have already done the infrared readings, and it doesn't look like there will be any at all contingency used, but just as an allowance in the event that there's some coping that gets damaged or needs to get replaced.
I move that the Board of Education accept the proposal from DCG Roofing Solution for the roofing projects at both Addison Trail and Willowbrook High School in the total amount of $704,392, which includes a $25,000 contingency allowance for any unforeseen site conditions.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Taylor?
Yes.
Gallivan?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have the spring 2027 Willowbrook Marching Band trip request.
Tonight, we have a request for a field trip to Orlando, Florida, for the Willowbrook Band. This will take place in spring of '27.
I move that the Board of Education approve the Willowbrook High School Marching Band to travel to Orlando, Florida from April 22nd to April 25th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Gallivan?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have the, let's see, the e-learning approval request.
I move that the Board of Education approve the DuPage High School District 88 e-learning plan, which authorizes the use of e-learning days in lieu of emergency days, as presented during the public hearing on e-learning.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Olson?
Yes.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Gallivan?
Yeah.
Kane?
Yes, motion's approved. Next, we have the discussion items requiring no action at this time. College and career readiness updates.
All right, hello. It's been a very busy time in my office as we come upon course selection and scheduling and planning for next year. So planning actually starts in October for the following school year. So I just want to give a quick recap of all the great things that we are doing and opportunities for our students. So course selection is beginning this week. We're beginning with our sophomores with the class of 2028. Counselors will be meeting with students individually to choose courses for next year. And that is a process that'll go through January and February as well to get all of our students course selected. But it is very important that each student does meet with their counselor, so we find that that's a very valuable experience. So because of some school links, one little hiccup, both schools are actually starting tomorrow, where the students will be coming down and meeting with counselors. Everything is being done on school links. As we've been talking about the last few years, I just wanted to take a second to remind our parents and guardians that they're able to log into school links as well. If they go to schoollinks.com and they choose that the Google account that they have, just they can sign in with Google as single sign-on. because they have an account with us already on file, so we've uploaded that, or they can choose forgot password and create their account that way. So I do encourage parents and guardians to get that School Links account set up and situated. In the event that there's an issue with the account, we do have our course listing guide is public. So you don't necessarily need the School Links account or login to view the course listings. So there's a QR code right there on the screen. Students and parents can filter by subject, course, dual credit, project lead the way. There are just a whole bunch of different filters that students can use to look at their classes and look at the options that they have for next year and their entire 4 years at Willowbrook or Addison Trail. So a quick recap for our new courses. We do have AP Cybersecurity. We have Youth Apprenticeship and Internship. So we're having that internship component for next year. Foundations of Civics, the Blazer Cafe, and Arabic 3 Honors. So we're constantly, trying to embrace our curriculum and try to offer that comprehensive curriculum for all of our students. And as a reminder, starting with August of 2026, we will have a new graduation requirement for students. All students are going to have a post-secondary commitment. So that means 2-year university, 4-year university, technical school, military, or entering the workforce. So we want them to have that commitment before they leave for us. And we also want them to have at least one career-related experience. Those experiences can be an internship, any job shadowing, a career-focused field trip, or any presentation panel that I'll explain in a second, an industry-related project, an apprenticeship, a mentorship, or any industry credential or certification. This will all be logged in School Links. There's a wonderful platform through work-based learning that students, it's very user-friendly, that students will be able to go in and log all their experiences there. So our Director of Student Career Development has really embraced this graduation requirement, and she has started a program this year called Dream Plan Do From the Halls to the Hustle. She has a monthly career presentation, and it's usually by someone in the community, and she has a variety of different careers represented in these meetings. So what happens is that when the students take their interest surveys, they choose what careers they're interested in, and Ms. Navarez can pull those from the back end. And she could say, okay, so I have an accountant coming in. And she can find out and pull the kids who are interested in accounting and invite those students in during their lunch period to come listen to that presentation and see if they're interested in it. And of course, that is also logged in School Links. That counts for the graduation requirement. We've also continued to expand our internship, apprenticeship, and vocational programs. In our Heritage Spanish Career Fluency course, students, it's a capstone course in which students go out into the community and they act as interpreters at different businesses and with different employers. So that's actually slated to go again. They're going out this semester. So the teachers and the department heads are working on placements for those students. In the education teacher preparation program, this is also a capstone for teachers, or for our students who want to be teachers. They have 60 hours of field experience through this course where they go to different schools, to the feeder schools, and they do lesson plans, they interact with the students. They also earn a career pathway endorsement if they successfully complete the teacher prep program. And then finally, the CTE Youth Apprenticeship and Internship Program. The apprenticeship has been around for about 5 years now. Students go out and they find jobs in manufacturing or IT, and they work at least 15 hours a week, and they get experience in that area, and we will be adding those internships on as well. If students are interested in the internship, there has been a remind sent to all of them. We have an application that's going out where they communicate to us what their interests are so that we can try pairing them with an employer right now. So we're really trying to get a jump on this. And then also, we're trying to, get our curriculum aligned to different careers, and also for students to get those credentials along the way while they're with us. So there's a medical careers track. We have JROTC, Project Lead the Way, and then a cybersecurity path for our students as well. So all of these things related to college and career pathways are on the website, DuPage88.net. And then if you go to, I believe, careers, it will be there. And so there is a career pathway slide deck for Addison Trail, and there's also a pathway slide deck for Willowbrook. Because We split them up by schools because what it does is when you go there is you see the 18 career pathways that we offer for our students. This example is just for Addison Trail, but based on those 18 career pathways, we created a slide for each one. And so, for example, animal systems, there's a description if a student is interested in animal systems as a career, what a job could be with animal systems, the courses you should take for your 4-year plan, and then as well as different extracurriculars and clubs and activities. So we have 18 of these by school, and these will be rotating and they'll be projected on the TVs at school for students as they're walking by, so they could see this and then hopefully click on that QR code and then they can take a deeper dive to see all the opportunities that they have within that pathway. So I just wanted to go ahead and just go through all those, but all 18 are aligned to the coursework and to extracurricular activities. So this is pretty nice. In addition, with Dr. Barbanente's 88 and 88, she created a series with Danny and Iridia. We have 4 videos that are aligned with the career pathways. So we took those 18 pathways, we grouped them into 4, and there are 4 different ones. So we have an arts and communication video, agriculture, health sciences, and human public services, finance and business services, and then information technology, STEM, and manufacturing. So the link is there. I encourage everyone to take a look at those videos. They're very informative, and we're pretty proud of those. So in addition to, while Ms. Navarez is working on the career pathways and getting that out, I've been working on trying to market our dual credit coursework. It is so powerful. So I'm calling it the D88 College Launch, the Power of 15. Okay, so we're going to be encouraging students to earn at least 15 hours of dual credit before they leave us. This is powerful because 15 credit hours is a semester, so they can have a semester of college credit before they leave. That equals to financial savings. They know that they can do it, right? And they get that confidence with our teachers. And then these dual credits are with our teachers at the high school, no extra fee for them, okay? So the flyer, this will be available at the curriculum nights. I got very good at Canva the last couple of weeks. But what I did is I did separate out the dual credits that are in our core classes, in our core departments, and I also indicated at what grade level students can take those classes. So it is pretty comprehensive. And then also I listed all the other dual credit classes we have across District 88, and I labeled if they were at Addison Trail or Willowbrook. The benefits of the Power of 15 of taking these courses. And then I did list out the advanced placement courses, project lead the way courses, because these are also transcripted. And then finally the transitional courses, just so students and parents understand what the transitional courses are. We offer these courses in English and math, and if students successfully complete these with a C or better, they are guaranteed to go into the 100 level class at their college. They don't have to take the remedial courses with these transitionals. So like I said, and then I put the course listing guide here. So just a marketing idea, just to get the word out. There's so much information everywhere, so we're trying to kind of condense it and then communicate it back out. So excited about that Power of 15. And again, sorry, got a cast. We have close to 50 dual credit courses with the College of DuPage. We are the leaders in DuPage County of course offerings in dual credit. So I'm very proud of that. And then it's a very wide range of courses that the students can take from grades 9 through 12. We also offer the courses through Elmhurst, Dominican, and Project Lead the Way. And so we call those transcripted courses just to keep them different from the COD, just so we can keep it straight, where the kids are getting that credit. Advanced placement courses, we're close to 40, I believe. Those are right on the screen. And then the Technology Center of DuPage, our juniors and seniors at our schools are able to attend the Technology Center of DuPage for half of the day to earn career credentials in different vocational areas. So there are 16 opportunities for them at TCD. quick review of graduation requirements. We have our graduation requirements listed in the student handbook, and there are 3 columns. The first column are the District 88 graduation requirements. The middle column are recommended courses for students who are college-bound, okay? And then the third column are the ISB graduation requirements. So we just kind of wanted to lay it out for our families of like what their goal is, what they want to do, and then what type of coursework they should aim for. So that's all listed here for you. And then along with our graduation requirements, we have some graduation flexibilities thanks to the board, thanks to the approval of the school board. So if a student is participating in an apprenticeship, or if in a vocational or educational program, they're able to substitute other courses in order to participate in those programs. So if a student is interested or thinks that they qualify for any of these flexibilities with apprenticeships and technical ed, they should definitely reach out to their counselor. These are done through administrative approval. Also in science, we are able to offer flexibility for the third year of science in District 88 if a student is in a capstone career pathway course, and those are listed on the screen in culinary arts, ed teacher prep, autos, manufacturing apprenticeship, Project Lead the Way, or any TCD program, okay? And then finally, in physical education, we have some flexibilities here. If a student needs to take an academic class that's required for a higher institution, or if a student needs specific classes in order to graduate, they're able to use that flexibility. And then finally, students participating in ROTC, in marching band, and then any interscholastic activities, they can use the PE graduation flexibility. And of course, students with IEPs. So here are the links to the requirements and all the pages. And then I just wanted to take a second to speak to Ms. Erica Craig's area with the biliteracy updates. We do have 50 languages spoken by students across the district. The top languages are Spanish, Urdu, Polish, and Arabic. And as a result, we do provide language services for our teachers and for our community. We have on-demand language interpretation available to staff. We have live in-person interpretation in Spanish at various events. And then we've also increased English learner and bilingual credentialing for staff. We do offer the Seal of Biliteracy testing. That's for students who show certain scores and certain achievement in English and then also in another language. So we are offering those February 12th at Willowbrook and February 25th at Addison Trail. If anyone's interested in that, they should reach out to Ms. Craig at ecraig@dupage88.net for more information. Okay. Later on this week, on Thursday, we're going to have our course information nights at Addison Trail and Willowbrook. I believe Addison Trail starting at 6, Willowbrook starting at 6:30. So there are emails that have gone out. There's going to be one more going out tomorrow to remind everyone to come on by, meet the coaches as well, and it'll just be information on the curriculum being offered. Also on Thursday is the TCD open house. That is at TCD from 6:30 to 8 p.m. It seems to be the same night every year. However, if a student is interested in TCD, attendance at one of these open houses is mandatory. So if you do have a student that is interested in TCD, I highly encourage you to attend this program because we do ask for lists of students who attended because we want to make sure that students are truly interested in that program and they know what they're signing up for before they actually enroll in TCD. And finally, we are offering an ACT preparation course for our juniors at Addison Trail and Willowbrook High Schools. There are 8 sessions on Thursday nights from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. We have just made the decision today that the students, the program will be held at Willowbrook High School. We will be providing transportation from Addison Trail to Willowbrook on each of these days. So if you are interested in that, please reach out to Dr. Jamie Gorley or Michael Warren for registration for that program. And I feel like that's it, so thank you. I know that was a lot. Thank you for bearing with me. It's all good work, I promise. Thank you.
I love the power of 15.
Thank you.
And it's great to also see all the AP courses that are also dual credit. The kids are guaranteed
Right.
one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Because even, if the school doesn't accept the AP score, then at least they still get the dual
They'll
credit.
take the transcript.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, thank you.
Speaking of curriculum night, though, I don't know if board members have thought about which school they'd like to be at for curriculum night. Sure. Okay, Willowbrook for Chris.
I'm available. I don't care which school,
Okay.
so I can go wherever I'm needed.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I've never been to AT's curriculum night. Can I do AT?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, no, you cannot. We'll let you do AT, okay. You can do AT also?
Guess I will, Brooke.
Okay. So Dan at Willowbrook, Chris, okay, perfect.
I just don't know where to get. One time I was like in the athletic office, and like, we need more candy. We need a variety. No, just teasing. Danny does a great job. It's just usually hidden somewhere where I can't find it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, then we'll move on to, from the excitement of college career readiness, now we're going on to the review of the board policies.
So tonight for a first read, we have some board policy updates. These are minor updates that have been reviewed by the policy committee and are recommended for review tonight and then for action at the next board meeting.
Okay, and then move along, we got the information items, the freedom of information and the credit card summary, and then move along to school recognition. We'll go ahead and start with Willowbrook tonight.
Great, thanks so much. As was mentioned a few times, this week is the Curriculum Showcase and Meet the Coaches Night as we welcome in predominantly the class of 2030, our incoming ninth graders, where they'll have an opportunity to meet with many of our staff members who will have different displays about the courses that are offered, not just in ninth grade, but throughout their high school career. We placed Meet the Coaches at the same time because we found that students and parents, as they were coming to meet the coaches, were there a little bit earlier. They usually do that pretty quickly, and then they had a little bit of a gap in time. So we placed it all together. We'll start with 6:30 with a welcome message that'll include current Willowbrook Warriors, probably Marley Smurs and a few others that'll be on stage talking to the incoming ninth graders as we start. And then we close out the evening with an opportunity for them to visit some of the more specialized areas, including career and technical education, where they'll have their first Willowbrook gear. The screen printing classes have printed up the class of 2030 shirts that'll be handed out. Brook Catering is generally on display as well, offering great items, so it's always a fun event and fun evening. We started second semester. We're already a full week plus a day in. Last week we had quite a bit of transition into the 2026 portion of our school year, but students are settled in now and definitely taking advantage of all the great learning experiences that are happening in and out of the classroom. Outside the classroom, winter sports and athletics are certainly in full display. First, I want to congratulate another member of the superintendent advisory team, OJ Powell, one of our boys basketball players. He was selected as the My Suburban Life Athlete of the Week. He continues to have an outstanding athletic career, but certainly basketball season where he just became the all-time leading scorer in Willowbrook history for boys basketball. He is also an all-state high jumper for track, so we're looking forward, and you will see him, I am sure, many times here in the spring as he concludes his high school career with us. A shout out to our Special Olympics basketball team. They had their senior night this past week, and the theme was Disney. It was jam-packed audience for both Willowbrook Warriors and the Morton Mustangs, who we played, parents and students alike, really enjoying that time. They have so many players this year, they have to play 2 games at a time, which is a great problem to have. So if you ever want to, if you ever need a smile on your face, those are the games to go to, for sure, because there's nothing better than that. Just learned this afternoon that one of our current seniors and teammate of Marley, Leigh Bernardo, has been invited to the USA Football Flag Football National Team Trials at the end of March. She will have an opportunity to make the national team that is the precursor to the Olympics. So she is an outstanding member of our team, another 4-year player. If she does make the team, she competes this summer in Germany in the international games. She is, if she hasn't already, she's going to be playing flag football at the next year at one of the top universities. It's called Kaiser University, we learned, in Florida, and just a tremendous person who's definitely shown tremendous leadership, but also is another great role model for the sport. So I want to give her a quick shout out for that. The rest of our winter sports are doing tremendous work. A lot of senior nights, especially this week. We had one just this evening for gymnastics. We have girls and boys bowling senior nights this week, as well as cheerleading. Shout out to our cheerleading team, who for the first time in a very long time, we're actually looking back at records, is in their competition this weekend, brought home a top 10 trophy. So they're doing a fantastic job, super proud of them. And again, winter sports just continues, and indoor track, I believe, starts next week. So we'll start to transition into spring pretty quick.
Okay, Edison Trail.
Good evening, thank you. As Dr. Kraus mentioned, we've only been back 1 week, but I feel like it's been a whole semester in one. A couple things that have happened. Last Wednesday, we held our elective fair. So at Edison Trail, we host a fair for current Edison Trail students that's very similar to Course Information Night. So students are able to, during their physical education class, come into the main gym, and all of our different departments are set up with all the different electives that are offered, from the CTE departments to the core departments, just a number of different areas that they show that even as a junior, if you haven't made that decision to go into a certain career pathway, those types of things, you can choose different elective courses that you could be a part of even your senior year. We had an opportunity to recognize our students of first semester with the breakfast last week, followed up by our Illinois State Scholars breakfast, where we recognized 45 students. Some of our students were able to participate in the Illinois High School Theater Fest. Just again, a huge congratulations to All-State Director, Ms. Anna McSweeney, as well as Technical Director, Mr. Alex Hollid. Mr. Shader and I had an opportunity to go down there and just kind of be a part of the opening ceremonies and different things. And to say that those two are rock stars in like this world of Illinois high school theater, it's an understatement. Just like the cheers they were getting of 10,000 plus people inside of this auditorium was just crazy. You know, I thought it was all for Mr. Shader and I walking out there, but apparently it was for Ms. McSweeney. We had students participate: Mia Alvarez, Natalie Gonzalez, Catherine Preciado, Joseph Vargas were a part of the crew, as well as Mary Therese Tamendong, who was a part of the pit orchestra. And then on Friday, the power went out. So we've definitely lived a whole semester within just kind of the 1 week. Coming up, Addison Trail tomorrow, having stolen the idea from Willowbrook, will be hosting all of the class of 2030 in our step-up days. So we have a little bit different of a schedule for the 8th graders. We have half of them coming in the morning and then another half in the afternoon, just to kind of shrink that class size a little bit. Before we did it, and it was like groups of 40 students. This will be more groups of like 20 or so students with the smaller class that's entering Addison Trail. Later in the week, those same students with their parents and guardians will join us for Course Information Night. I mentioned a few times tonight, so that's Thursday, January 15th. Ours does start at 6 p.m. with Meet the Coaches and Sponsors. That's about a half hour. We'll transition. That'll actually be in the main gym this year. We'll transition over to the auditorium for a quick presentation from Mr. Redding, myself, and a couple students. And then from 7 to 8 p.m., it's kind of that open campus. Different departments will be in their different areas, very similar model to what Willowbrook has. Friendly reminder for students, last Friday you were out because of the power. This Friday you were out because of Institute Day. Then no school on Monday, just for students. Athletics, 2 invitations, Addison Trail versus Willowbrook. This Friday for Addison Trail Senior Night, our wrestling senior night, which will be held actually in the auditorium. If you haven't experienced it and you haven't been a part of it before, this is something Mr. Ayala started when he came to Addison Trail, and you think wrestling and auditorium. Sounds weird. It's the coolest thing ever. The lights go out. They do a whole introduction with sound, music, and all that fun stuff. So if you have an opportunity this Friday, Addison Trail versus Willowbrook for Addison Trail's Wrestling Senior Night. And then Pack the Place. It's just around the corner on January 23rd, where we invite alumni, athletes from both the girls and boys basketball programs. Girls will play at 6 p.m. versus Leiden, and then our boys team will play at 7:30 p.m. versus Downers Grove South. And that's it from Addison Trail.
Okay. Next board member reports.
This is Gail. I have a report.
Okay.
Speaking with a heavy heart, and I am resigning as the junior school board member for family reasons, effective immediately. It's been quite an experience, serving with an outstanding board and leadership team. So it's a necessary thing. But I will say that it was interesting to hear the acknowledgement for DADA, not a person that she acknowledged her support. So that's all good to me. And thank you all for all the support given me.
Thank you, Gail. We know this has not been an easy decision for you. But, you know, we understand for, you know, needing to be there for your family and wish you the best of luck there. And thank you for everything that you've added to the board and helped us to look at things a little bit differently. And I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. And best wishes to everybody until we meet again.
Well, you'll have to let us know when you'll be in town.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I will be connecting, so.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Also, underneath the board member reports, I just want to remind everybody that February 3rd, we're going to be hosting the Illinois Association of School Boards DuPage Division at Willowbrook. Dr. Tony Standers is going to be the speaker. If you have, he has offered to answer some questions. So if anybody has something that they would like to, you know, to ask him, you can let me know. They were supposed to be saying on an email, but I didn't see it today. So people can't submit their questions. He's not going to take a lot of questions, but figure this is an opportunity to ask those if we have them. And superintendent reports.
So just want to take an opportunity to put a reminder related to the invitation that is out there for our parents and community to participate in the Citizens Task Force meetings that are coming up on January 26th at Willowbrook High School and February 19th at Addison Trail. These are in relation to the board reviewing funding proposal for upgrades in both buildings related to safety and security, ADA accommodations, needed upgrades within our career technical education area. These proposals do not involve a tax increase. Nothing is finalized yet, but the task force meetings are an opportunity for the community to provide more feedback and to review the options that the board are considering. There will also be building tours of some of the areas that are in need of some attention. And it's important to note that these meetings are not duplicated. They're not the same meeting. They're actually a part 1 and part 2. So we encourage people to attend both. Again, there will be building tours of each facility as we're, in the building that's hosting, but it is a 2-part meeting. So again, those meetings are January 26th, which is a Monday at Willowbrook High School at 6:30, and Thursday, February 19th at Addison Trail High School. More information is on our website as well, and certainly can contact the superintendent's office for more information. We also want to mention the DuPage 88 Foundation, District 88 Foundation Pickleball Tournament that will be held on Saturday, the 28th of February. So mark your mark your calendars and get ready for the paddle battle. That is the third annual, right? We're at the third. So thank you.
Okay. Next, public comments. Do we have any comments from the public?
Good evening. At this time, we do not have any public comments submitted.
Okay, thank you. Then move along to announcements. The next Board of Education meeting will be held on Monday, February 2nd, 2026 at 7:30 PM in the district boardroom located District Administrative Offices, 2 Friendship Plaza, Addison, Illinois, 60101. And the following Board of Education meeting will be held on Monday, February 23rd, 2026 at 7:30 PM in the district boardroom located at District Administrative Offices, 2 Friendship Plaza, Addison, Illinois, 60101. At this time, I entertain a motion to move into closed session for purposes of A, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, educational setting, or specific volunteers of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee, a specific individual who serves as an independent contractor in a park, recreational, or educational setting, or a volunteer of the public body, or against the counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to public and posted and held in accordance with this act. And B, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Poyer?
Yes.
Finnegan?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Gallivan? Gallivan?
Yeah.
Olson?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes. Motion's approved, and we'll move into closed session. Okay, we're back in open session. Roll call, please. Here.
Stout, Finnegan, Poyer, Taylor, Galvin,
Yes.
Olson.
There's no action that is necessitated by the closed session, therefore I entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Ayes have it. We're adjourned.